Hello. First of all, before I start on today's topic, I just want to say thanks to those of you who have expressed appreciation of these videos that I do. It just makes me realise that, okay, people are appreciating them, so I'll carry on doing them. So today I'm going to talk about a Buddhist word called vedana, or vedanas, and vedana is often translated as feeling. But in English we tend to use the word feeling and emotion to mean the same thing. So we say, for example, I'm feeling angry or I'm feeling sad. But this word vedana, it means something a bit different to that. There's a different category in Buddhism for those other kinds of feelings, such as anger or sadness. They're classed as emotions. But feeling, it really means the feeling tone of our experience. Or we could say the sensations that we experience. And sensations means what we experience through the senses. So the feeling tone of our experience is said to be, according to Buddhism, is classified as being pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. So every moment, really, every moment of our life, we're experiencing either pleasant sensations or unpleasant sensations or neutral sensations. And that means every moment of our waking or conscious life, whether we're meditating or not meditating, doesn't matter what we're doing. And also, even in our dreams, we can experience pleasant or unpleasant or neutral sensations. So why is it interesting or helpful to know about this classification of experience? Well, when we're working with our mind, when we're meditating or studying the Dharma, we're trying to make conscious as much as possible of our experience, so that it's not just happening to us as though in a sort of cloud or a dream. We're conscious, we're aware of everything that is happening to us. So when we get to know that our experience is now pleasant and now unpleasant and now neutral, we begin to understand that actually it's quite natural to go through these different experiences. Whereas what we tend to do, without having any real insight or mindfulness of this, awareness of this, what tends to happen is that we, when we experience pleasant sensations, we think, oh great, my life's all right, things are going well, I'm fine. But then, a bit later, sometimes not very long at all, we experience unpleasant sensations. And then maybe we think, oh, life's not so good after all. In fact, life is pretty bad at the moment. This is a really bad situation. I don't like this at all. There must be something wrong. Maybe there's something wrong in the way that I'm living my life. So we tend to swing between these two extremes of being really okay with our experience, feeling on top of the world maybe, and then the other experience is that everything perhaps seems too much, is painful, we don't like it. And very often, before we know it, actually reactions set in. So the kind of reactions are that when we experience pleasant sensations, pleasurable sensations, then the reaction to that can be craving or grasping or attachment. We really want that pleasant experience to continue because it's enjoyable. Why wouldn't we want it to continue? It's quite natural. But that is our reaction that comes in, at some point during the pleasant experience, sometimes very quickly. Although maybe if we're not particularly mindful, we may not even notice that there's that attachment or that grasping present. And also when unpleasant sensations arise, unpleasant feelings, up comes the feeling of aversion, dislike, pushing away. We don't want this experience. We don't like it. We want it to go away. We want our life to be normal, in inverted commas, or we want our life to be good or fine or okay. With neutral feelings, neutral sensations, sometimes I think it can be a bit harder to perceive those because they're not so strong. They don't stand out and grab our attention so much because, after all, they're a bit neutral. There's not so much there to get hold of or to be averse to. They're not so concrete as, or not so tangible as pleasant or unpleasant sensations. But nonetheless, one of our reactions to neutral feelings can be boredom, or we want something more interesting, something more exciting to happen. So we get into these reactions to our experience because we take those vedanas, those feelings, those sensations, we take them too seriously. We take them to be real in some way. We make something of them, as though our life or our happiness depends on whether things are pleasant, painful, or neutral. I'm tempted to say, does it matter if our sensations are pleasant or painful or neutral? Well, in a way it doesn't. If we develop equanimity, then we can ride the waves of whatever comes our way, whether it's pleasant or painful or neutral. We can just ride with that. We can be okay with that, and our experience is all right. Doesn't necessarily mean pleasant when I say all right. You know, I've had times when I've been quite upset by something or unhappy about something, but at the same time, deeper down, there's a sense of being okay with whatever arises. I'm learning to recognize that these vedanas are phenomena which arise in my experience through the senses. They can be pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. And if I just leave it at that, then I'm okay. I'm not harmed by them. But it's when I allow the reactions to set in, that's when it becomes more difficult, more problematic. Because I'm not allowing them to just be. I'm wanting them to be something else. So I'm not accepting my experience. I'm wanting some other experience over there. The grass is greener on the other side. It's that kind of thing. So what we learn from an investigation of Vedana or Vedanas is that everything in our experience is impermanent. It's subject to change. We don't want the pleasant sensations to change because the only other options apart from pleasant are unpleasant or neutral. We'd rather stay with the pleasant, thanks very much. So that attitude is just not recognizing the impermanent nature of things. Or maybe we know the impermanent nature of it, but we haven't quite got to a point where we can really accept that yes, my experience is going to change whether I like it or not. Of course, when unpleasant sensations arise, we can think, oh great, they'll be gone in a while because everything's impermanent. That's true. That's a helpful thing to do. If you're depressed or upset or something or anxious, just bear in mind that because of the changing nature of things, that state of mind will not remain forever, as long as we bring some awareness in there. What I've found through many years of practice now is that when negative states arise, they change much more quickly than they used to. And that's because I used to not to accept their changing nature. I used to not, I used to make too much of them, make them too much of a real thing, take them too seriously. Therefore they lasted longer. The unpleasant states, the negative states of mind. So with vedanas, with pleasant, unpleasant or neutral feeling tones that arise in our experience, we need to learn to treat them as impermanent, always changing, and also to accept that that is the natural way of things, and also to not attach so much importance or reality to them. Let them be.